So the next one's for you, Annette. So this is like a work-life balance question. Rachel and I talk about that a lot, like where we work, where we've used to work. Organizations never have enough money to do what you need to do. They never have enough people. There's never enough minutes in the day. The things that we all do, not for profit, military, Leos, corporate, we have lives. And then you have these really big jobs or jobs that you need to feed your private lives. Like it's an interesting swirl. And not a lot of people understand what it's like to be in the military and have a life, or in your function you're in now. And you've got two boys, you've got this massive job. Like you handled, know about, manage some of the most sensitive material in the world. And I don't think I'm overplaying it because I know what your jobs were. It's a huge responsibility, and you were away from home a lot. And it's interesting. Like lots of people struggle with that. Like I stopped calling it work-life balance, and Rachel knows this. Like I call it work-life freedom. Like you have the choice to partake in certain aspects of your life, yet are still held accountable to your role. Now the military is a different animal. Corporate people don't get deployed far from home for years at a time, months at a time. They come home at the end of the day. But the emotional trials of balancing all that are real for all facets, and it's a struggle. And I would ask a man this, and I have asked men this, so this isn't a female-only question, I promise. It's a navigating career and work-life freedom.
So when I think through this, first coming in the Army, I'll just be candid. There is no work-life balance. Your life, for me at least, was the Army. And a lot of that, and a lot of people's are, not just mine, but a lot of that for me is exactly what Mary was talking about. As every assignment I went to, I had someone roadblocking me on something. Now, there were probably 10 people behind them that gave me support and mentorship, but there was always a question, can she really do this job? Should she really be here? And so it didn't matter if I had 5 years or 10 years or even 20 years. And then in combat in Afghanistan, there was another, and most of them are my peers, right? Can she really do that job? She's got to deal with the brigade commanders. She's a girl. Will she really know what they're talking about? That's the attitude some people have. I would say the majority do not, but it just takes one to, at least someone like me. It's like, I'm going to dig in. I'm going to have to do more. I'm going to have to do better. I'm going to have to, really be, on my game and make sure I'm, not taking for granted that my level of education and my level of experience is going to help carry this through. What's going to help carrying this through is I work hard and carry on. So I know that's not the answer anybody wants to hear. Is there any balance? It also causes me to reflect. I was in the Pentagon. I'm in super early. We have presentations for, important people early in the morning and super early. And I had a great boss, but the only time he wanted to meet, sometimes it'd be like, hey, buzz up here around, 2000, 8 p.m. Okay. I've been in, at the wee hours of the morning. So that's a pretty long day by 8 p.m. But okay, he's the boss. Roger out. That's the mission. But a couple of times he would say, Annette, don't be like me. You at the time I had young kids. He said, you got young kids. You got to do work-life balance. I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as I walk out, I'm like, what time I came in here, right? You set the time to meet. You could have met me tomorrow morning. So people say work-life balance, but they really want you to do it now and when they need it done. And so that is just part of the job and the culture, at least in the Army that I was in. And I didn't really think anything of it. Did I think what he said was hypocritical? No, I wouldn't frame it like that. I think he was sincere, but he also was just as sincere about getting the mission done. So, for me, there was no balancing Army or home life. And when I was deployed, I'm deployed. It's just the way it is. And for me, I started late with the kids, right? So I had a good decade plus of Army life where I could do, 20 hours a day, and that was my life. And you're right. When the kids came along, it's like, how do you balance taking care of everybody in your army command, right? You're taking care of everybody and everybody's mission needs and personal issues, and but what about my family? What about my boys? And so that did creep into what am I doing, and that was part of my decision making to depart the army, right? And because they were still in elementary school, and I thought, yeah, I could stay in and keep doing this job that I just love, but there's more to life than this job, right? And of course that hits home after coming out of a combat zone, especially Afghanistan. And so it influences, because you can't actually. I don't think you can have it all. I know people say you can have it all, and maybe they can, but I couldn't. I couldn't do it. And in the corporate world, my bad habits are my bad habits. It's not my bosses, right? So I don't have any bosses, calling me at 8, knowing I was in, but I have bad habits because there's always a person to take care of. There's always something to solve or create. So I know I'm a work in progress. My boys are older now, so half the time they don't care, if I'm busy or not. But they do, because I make sure I at least as a minimum pause and have dinner, because after we can converge and then they'll go off and do their own thing, but to them they had that time with as a family. And so I am still a work in progress, because my civilian life, I know I have a lot more opportunity, and I'm also very grateful for my job because they let us telework. And teleworking, I probably work harder teleworking because I'm not dealing with a commute, I'm not dealing with a million other things logistically. um, I probably work harder and get more done teleworking, and at the same time can come out of my office and have 15 minutes with my son for lunch in the afternoon. How amazing is that?
That's right.
So,
Pretty amazing.
so anyway, I wish I gave you a better answer, that I had cracked the code on that. I haven't, but I try.
No, but that is the answer. I don't think anyone knows how to crack the code. That's the point of the question, right?